available as of tonight, yes?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, guys. Bam, what up, everybody? So we got in the house tonight. We got Ambie Bell, who is in your lower. Oh, let me turn on the thing so everybody can see who's who here. There we go. Ambie Bell in the bottom right corner, and then her campaign manager Jay to your right above her, and then Aaron's like the volunteer coordinator guy or something.
There you go.
What you doing? I don't even know.
That's good.
But you made it happen. So thanks to Aaron, he reached out to me and put this thing together. But yeah, so just so you guys know, I live in a little town called Cole, Michigan, and then there's Benton Harbor, Michigan is like 7 miles away, and 7 roughly.
Give or take.
Yeah,
Roughly.
10 roughly at the most. But yeah, it's very local, and I went to Benton Harbor Elementary School when I was a kid. So Benton Harbor is near and dear to me personally. It kind of made me who I am. It gave me a dose of reality, man. To see poverty up, well, I was part of it, so it's not like I was like observing it. I was living it, you know. But yeah, so Ambie is running for city commissioner, and so let's just try to go ahead and just introduce your Ambie, like your background and what got you into this business.
Hi, so my name is Ambie Bell. I am a native of Benton Harbor. Honestly, what kind of got me into it is for about the last 20 or so odd years, not to date myself, I've been an advocate, activist, community organizer, doing a lot of work in the background. Moved into the city because I've mostly stayed on the outskirts, but moved into the city a few years ago and just really saw there was so much more that I could be doing. So we weren't always trying to help take care of things on the back end when we were standing up for people. And that's kind of how I got in this space today with you.
So what kind of activism and advocacy did you work on behalf of?
Sure. So in college, it really started with women's rights.
Mm-hmm.
There was a women's shelter that was right off of campus. I attended Fair State University. So it was like a consignment shop downtown, and we would just kind of go just to, we were broke college students, get new clothes, rehab them. And I kind of got interested in the space and why they were there. And we did shut-ins and lock-ins and raised money for women. Came back home, did some work with domestic violence, and then a lot of work with Benton Harbor area schools. Just students, speaking up for women in the community. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It started with women, and now it's more of a civil liberty thing. But yeah.
Well, there's definitely some civil liberties being trampled upon in Benton Harbor right now. Honestly, when it comes to Whirlpool, when it comes to the school, they're trying to shut down the schools. They're trying to take over the schools. The state had recently, was about 3 years ago, the state had the financial manager like oversee the city, and
for many years.
Well, and just took away everyone's rights they were elected to do to manage the city. And he's in there just being a headhunter. And what really changed after all that?
Yeah.
Did anything change?
Not much.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Not much.
So,
and what change has happened has been very slow.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. So the state has been, I think, a little bit of overreach personally, and at the same time, not doing enough to make the change we need to. Because right now, Benton Harbor has a boiling water effect, right? Where everybody's got to have they're mailing out water filters, everyone, and bottled water, because the Benton Harbor is a miniature.
I believe today on Milton Street, they were actually giving out free filters.
Yes. And bottled water.
And a few other things. It's been nonstop. It's been extremely consistent and troublesome.
Well, the thing is Flint is a precursor to what's coming to Benton Harbor, because Benton Harbor is in the same boat as Flint. So I think what happened. That's what I'm saying. So like what's happening in Benton Harbor right now happened in Flint 10 years ago. and nobody did anything about it for another decade, and let the people of that city be exposed to lead and all kinds of carcinogens and
And
pollution
I'm
that's
not
going to.
completely sure, but I don't even think you can boil lead out.
So if I could just jump in for a second.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm Aaron. I'm from Coloma, grew up in Watervliet. I was adopted by the city of Benton Harbor, the people of Benton Harbor. My wife taught there for many, many years, and
Nice.
that's who I am. And we've been working sort of behind the scenes on this water thing, just trying to understand it. And I do think there are two different things going on there, different problems. I think the lead is coming from old lines, old leads into the houses, which is the same problem that Flint had. And I think the boil water problem is something different that originates at the plant, the water treatment plant
Right.
near the lake. So, yeah, they're both real issues, and I don't want to undercut either of them, but I think they're separate issues, I think.
Yeah, the boil one is because of bacteria.
That's right.
And so that's what's happening is it's the sludge, and the water treatment plant needs to be updated. We need an infrastructure overhaul, just like the schools, just like the roads. And so I don't know. I drive the streets of Benton Harbor all the time at my job, and I'm just like, holy crap, man! How the hell can they just not do anything about this at all? But that's where we're at. There's no money, and I have nothing bad to say about people in office right now. I don't know anything about that. Like as far as why things are being mismanaged, it's just a money thing, And what's the responsibility of the city commissioner, Ambie? Jesus.
Can you hear me? You guys have been kind of going in and out. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. It's just kind of breaking a little bit.
Because I'm coming back from Chicago.
Yeah, we can hear you.
My signal has been going in and out. You guys can hear me? Awesome.
Yeah.
So the responsibility of the... Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's the job of the city commissioner? What's the responsibilities of that position?
Just in general, as it relates to the water. I didn't know if you were leading out of that.
No, just in general. Like, question. What will you have the power to?
Well, actually, we're just a representative. So it's really a representative able to vote on what happens. What I'm hoping to do is to sort of kind of build a committee around me of citizens, so I can have sort of a street to the ear or ear to the street, so I can honestly just know what's going on, what they're requesting, what they're needing, and make conscious decisions while voting. You guys all went away. Are you there?
We can hear.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, like everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's where I kind of can help out too, Yeah, making conscious decisions and having an ear to the street is really where I come in, and with the phone banking and the door knocking, the list cutting, turf building, things such as that, because you have to not assume what people want. You have to actually go to their doors or talk to them on the phone so you can know what they want. Because you're dealing with multiple generations of people in the city. So everybody's going to have different needs, different wants, different responsibilities when you put into play.
I remember when we were door knocking.
Uh-oh.
So bad. When we were door knocking, hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I met a woman named Mrs. Taylor. And Mrs. Taylor was pretty phenomenal. And I remember asking her, what was it that she enjoyed about living in Benton Harbor and being a part of this community? And she basically said, as far as me and my street, I can't think of anything else that I need or that I want. We're good. We take care of ourselves. But there are a lot of people in this community who can't. And they need someone to stand up for them. And I thought that was beautiful. But in the same respect, I think it's cool. We all can kind of stand up for each other. You know what I'm saying? My platform is well, one of the things is service. And I just feel like with service, as long as we're all planting seeds in each other, I'm planting seeds in the community, they're planting seeds in me, we're growing together. Um, and some of the people who do have it together, maybe we can get some of them to just come out and help other communities and build neighborhoods together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know you said you had a couple of pillars for your campaign that you've kind of built upon.
Yeah. So I believe I sent you a copy of the campaign flyer, but it's service. I don't know if you see it or not. I don't know if you have it to put it up, but it's
No.
service, hope, and strength.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't look that up right now, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah. So, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges? Like, if you're in there, let me be positive here. When you get elected, what do you think the highest priorities should be when you get in?
I honestly believe we need a lot of more services for our youth. And I would love for the youth to actually spearhead some of this and building up the inner city. Those are the two, like automatically right off the bat. That's kind of where I want to go. We have business districts inside of each ward, and I feel as though they're empty. They haven't been utilized. They're underutilized. We have so many businesses within our community, people who are just, hustling and bustling and getting it done. If it's out of a basement or out of a room in the house, or, I just feel like we need to offer them more resources. Yeah, we need to offer them more resources. So businesses right off the bat, and the youth. So inner city and the youth. Those are my top two right off the bat.
Well, I think access to internet is one of the biggest hurdles facing young people. And I was thinking about reaching out to Richard. What's his name? Fred Upton.
Okay.
One of the heirs of the Whirlpool mega billion-dollar corporations that have their world headquarters in Benton Harbor Township. I think they should be piloting a program to demonstrate that if we give people internet access, they can survive and flourish and have opportunities for business and education online. I think that'd be a cool program. I'm actually working on another advocacy group for universal basic income. I would like to see us leverage Fred Upton specifically. Like I'm going for him. Like I'm trying to get him on here for an interview, but I want to propose the idea of him leading the way. Okay. And get Whirlpool to finance to put the money up for a basic income pilot for like 2 years for Benton Harbor residents that need it the most. Like $1,000 a month, $500 a month for like 2 years, and show what little it takes to really pick people up out of poverty. Because I look at some statistics, Benton Harbor's poverty level is 50%. It's 48.2 technically. And if you look at the average price of a home in Benton Harbor, I think it said it was like $65,000 is the average price of a home in Benton Harbor. And you go across that river in St. Joe, it's $175,000, 3 times the value of a home.
Yeah.
So I think there are resources available. And if we could get Whirlpool to step up and do what they're supposed to do, you're taking from this community, it's time to give back. I know they do things for the hospitals and stuff like that, but they can do more. They got record profits during COVID, man. Give me a break.
Sure, you're talking about a pilot program.
Yes, for Benton Harbor specifically.
Yep.
I think everybody
It's going to be pretty amazing. I know I attended a communications meeting on Monday evening, and they are working on some really good things with Comcast. And Comcast has basically said, hey, we are covering the entire community of Benton Harbor. We want to do some things for the community. They're offering basically high-speed internet, $9.99. And I think $10 a month for internet is very reasonable.
Absolutely.
And it would be amazing if the city maybe with partners as well with the pilot program. But it would be amazing if the city had the opportunity to maybe say, hey, for some of these low income homes, or maybe we can help pay a portion of that, give them a free 6 months for a year. I think that would be an amazing program.
Yeah, I'm more of a big swing kind of guy, and
I understand what you're saying.
I'm a universalist.
Well,
Like,
big swing, that's $60,000. They can do that.
Exactly. Like, they give away more than that in a week in taxes, if they pay their taxes. Like, if they don't have corporate loopholes, right?
Right.
But I think that Benton Harbor could be a great place for a pilot program to get people out of poverty, to get people out of homelessness, to get people out of addiction, to get people out of unemployment, to pick up the school, to build up the school. And I really think that Benton Harbor is a perfect place for that, because there's such a dynamic in the Twin Cities. People don't say Twin Cities no more. They say Benton Harbor, St. Joe. Keep it separate. It's the Twin Cities. It's divided by a river.
Yep.
So to me, we need to really embrace the idea of Twin Cities. And I've really thought about that a lot, like the schools.
Yeah.
The high school has not had a real investment in the infrastructure in decades, probably 50 damn years. The roof is leaking on the gym floor, ruining the floor. And it's too expensive to fix the roof because it's so destroyed. Benton Harbor needs a new school, period. The place is like a goddamn jail cell with the damn cinder walls, the bad lighting, and the metal detectors, and half the lockers are broke. So I got some students that go to Coloma from Benton Harbor, and they're like, yeah, 30% of those lockers don't even close. There's no security, there's no safety that needs to be put in place, you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Benton Harbor High School is a near and dear place to my heart. I would love to see it revitalized. Even if they have to do just a section at a time. And there are some great things about Benton Harbor High School. I really believe that they could do it if they could find someone to just kind of help invest, and that might even bring some students back. And that would be a wonderful thing. Even to open up some more of the elementaries that are in the neighborhoods. I really believe that neighborhoods do better when there's some life. And if we could have some of these kids back in their neighborhoods, in their schools, in their buildings, even if it's just to start off maybe after school programs for these kids, because we have so many structures that are available. Renaissance zoning. Black Wall Street has started an initiative for Benton Harbor Black Wall Street. That started an initiative back in 2012. But I do want to encourage people to go and take a look at the website as well. It's called actionbh.com. So it's www.actionbh.com. And there's petitions, and there are hundreds of signatures from people who live within our community that are saying, hey, we want these schools open. We want to work on the zoning for the school. We want something for these kids to be able to do after school where it's safe in their neighborhood. Even if it's after school tutoring, they can walk home. So I think it's a matter of just building Benton Harbor area school back to be the resource that it is for the kids in this community. It's home for many of us. So I would love to see it thriving, and I contribute to that in any way.
There's three school buses that meet at the old mall and take 3 busloads of kids to Berrien Springs High School every day. 3 buses, guys. That's like 100 kids.
Yeah.
That goes to one school, not including Coloma, Watervliet, St. Joe, LMC, Lakeshore, everywhere but Benton Harbor High School.
Right. And I think for parents that have already made that decision to remove their kids, it's on the family. I think there needs to be a way to entice parents back. And even if that starts off as something as after school, and I can trust this district with my children after school, maybe we can see a bigger return next year of what's going on in the actual classrooms. So I think it needs to start somewhere.
Or maybe that's part of the pilot program. You get free internet and stuff like that and access to resources if you come back. Period.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That's a great conversation to have with the school board. How do we make that happen and work with the city and the school board and show a united front? Because they're so disjointed at times. Yeah.
Well, there's sections of the school it's not even being used at all. Like just roped off. And that's where some bad things can happen, you know. But
I'm not aware of what sections of the school are being used. Well, I wouldn't know anyway. I'm not on
what we don't want to see is the whole building torn down.
True.
Completely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's like Ambie said, it's a focal point for the community. It's where the kids go before, during, and after school. It's where they eat. It's where people vote.
Yep.
And it's frankly, it's legendary. So to get rid of that building would be traumatic for people in the area. And also, when you start talking about taking whole buildings down, whether they're defunct or not, people get really tight because there's an underlying concern about land theft in Benton Harbor, and we've all seen that happen, you know. So, you know, I'm not against renovation. I think that's a great idea. And Boyce is right that there are sections of the school that are not being used. But we'd love to see them used again. The pool comes to mind. So, you know, I think that there's wiggle room there. And, you know, maybe some of these programs that Ambie's just mentioned, Benton Harbor, Wall Street, Fresh Start, can be, we can roll that in, hopefully.
Well, the thing is, we have such huge companies right there. We got a professional golf course.
True.
Whirlpool headquarters.
They came up with a plan and they worked their plan. We need to come up with plans of our own, and we need to work our own plans. And we need to not look for solutions outside of our community so often. You know, we pay these people to come in, do surveys, tell us what where our weak links may be, and then they walk away without the solutions and paid, right? So
yes.
I honestly believe that right now, I know the city is working on the master plan. I also know that the school district is working on one as well. They're looking for citizens to come out, volunteer time, and just speak on what you need to see. They're looking to see. And that's important because that's basically us saying what we want in our community and not giving up hope that it could be. So I want to encourage anybody who has a vision for the city. I want to encourage anybody who has had a thought about what will make Benton Harbor better for you. We've lost 1,000 people since the last census, just according to the numbers. People aren't seeing futures for themselves. People aren't seeing futures for their families in Benton Harbor. And that's sad because other people are coming in and seeing themselves in our community and making it fit their design. But we're here and we should be here to stay. And we should be able to make it fit our design. Absolutely. So I definitely want to encourage anyone who's looking, reach out to the city clerk and find out when those meetings are asked to get put on the email list and come out and speak your truth. And I'll be there with you to speak with you.
Well, the best kind of change comes from within, not from outside. So I really do think that we
don't have to look for as many outside resources to come in and fix us when we have tons of people who are capable and who are able. We're looking for contractors. We have contractors, general contractors. We have plumbers. We have restaurant owners. We have people who can't really find good spaces. There's catering companies. They're doing events every weekend. We have makeup artists and beauticians. I mean, we're not lacking in talent, but we're lacking in spaces to cultivate that talent. Yeah.
Well, I know that In retrospect, I was trying to organize. I just didn't have enough forethought. I wouldn't say forethought to plan this out better. I was gonna try and do like a fundraiser to give all the kids at Benton Harbor that wanted one a free haircut at Shaw's. I love Shaw's.
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought if we could do a cool thing and generate a buzz for Benton Harbor to help people and do a live stream from Shaw's and have a live stream donation link. If you want to help these kids get cleaned up haircuts, man, looking good, first day of school, you look good, you feel good.
That's amazing. Shaw actually does an event every year for as far back as I can honestly think right now, because he's a staple in the community. He's going out. Yeah, he is. He's going out. He's going to City Hall. He's letting them know what he's doing. He's utilizing the parks. He even did an event at the mall as well. And he's offering that to the kids. So that would be amazing for you to even broadcast that. And maybe even do something for spring break, going back and, spring cleaning or something. Maybe that would be something you and him could talk, so it wouldn't be so far off.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to leverage my audience because I have more of an audience that's not local, but people want to make a difference. They don't know where to go.
Gotcha.
And donating to United Way and the American Cancer Society, the Red Cross is noble, but you don't know where that money goes. Now, if we have a live stream showing exactly what this money's going to, you can say, if you donate $10, another kid gets a haircut, or a school. I have a friend out in LA who's running for Congress, and she does a thing where she does a live stream donation, and they filled a semi-trailer, and she's a teacher too, is running for Congress. So she got a semi-trailer filled with backpacks, school supplies, and she went to Crenshaw. That's where she lives. And she just gave away backpacks to all these kids. I thought that's the stuff we could inspire on a grand scale, because it doesn't take a lot to make a big difference in a small community like Benton Harbor. It's a huge difference if every single kid gets the same start, a same starting line. Yeah. Some kids have parents with resources and others don't. And it's hard to, because I was there, man. We didn't have no new clothes. I ain't get no new backpack for school every year, man. Hell no. You're lucky if you got lunch.
Yeah.
And I think that's stuff that we could do locally that I want to be a part of to help all schools.
Awesome.
But Benton Harbor, like I said, is near and dear to me because I know Benton Harbor used to have 10 damn elementary schools, man.
Yeah, we did. We had I started at Stern Brownson. I know you said you went to Bard.
And Hall.
I left Stern Brownson and I attended Boynton, which was a Montessori program, and it was phenomenal. And my brother did as well. And it was an amazing experience. If somebody cut up in class, you didn't have to worry about parent-teacher conferences. My mother was going to see my teacher maybe at church on Sunday, maybe at the grocery store. So we had this huge community of people who we knew were invested in us inside and outside of the classroom. And the great thing about now is we still have that in a lot of these schools. And I really hope we can rebuild that. It's nothing like being a Tiger. It's nothing like being from Benton Harbor. It's one of the most beautiful places on this earth that I've ever encountered. And I've been a lot of places. And Benton Harbor is special.
Well, it's the fact that it was the jewel of the Southwest back in the 20s and 30s and 40s. Okay. It was the jewel of the Southwest. That's how it was marketed, I guess you'd say, because we had the jobs were here. I'm from Georgia. We moved from Columbus, Georgia to Benton Harbor, Michigan. Not anywhere else. We moved to Benton Harbor, Michigan because it was phenomenal. We could move here. My dad got a job just like that, found a place to stay just like that. Okay. Right on Empire and McAllister, right there. And he worked at a place called Well McLean, which is an old shop that's closed down. But it's a machine shop, Well McLean. And it's out in the township. But that's what Benton Harbor offered as a new start with gainfully employed. I mean, and the paper mills, the foundries, the machine shops. And then there's the merch, like the mall was a major hub, man.
Yeah.
Well, and before the mall, it used to be on the corner of what was that? M139 and Napier's, where you had the theater, you had the Five and Dime, you had the store, the bookstores, and you had the Big Boy on the corner. My mom worked at Big Boy's. The only reason my mom would go to work, I just go walk to the cinema, and I'd buy one ticket. We
Cinema
stay there.
5.
Yeah, the Cinema 5. We stayed there all day because we would just go from theater to theater. We catch the first half of this movie, and you go catch the first half of the next movie and come back, and you double back because they wouldn't catch you, like Stan.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a babysitter, so my mom's like, "Here's $5. Go to the theater, do your thing." We just stay there and watch all Spaceballs, Swamp Thing, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan. Like, I remember so many awesome movies I watched at the Cinema 5. But like Benton Harbor, and we had the fair. What was that called? The fair that was on the parking lot out there. Yeah, the Ferris wheel was right there in town, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I remember birthday parties at Showbiz, and we had a theme park, Action Territorial. Yeah, Showbiz.
Showbiz Pizza.
Action Territorial, which is where the Celebration Cinema is now. But we had a complete theme park right off of 94, and it was amazing. I don't know. There's no place on earth like this place. And it's really special that so many people have so many fond memories, but I'm really hoping people are going to have fond visions that they can look forward to, memories that they can spend with their kids. About 2 years ago, which is really what kind of helped me get into politics, I was struggling with this because I didn't necessarily want to do this. I prefer being in the background, but I had a dream, and in my dream I was coming from Territorial to Main Street. There's like a little strip of land, and I made a left on Main Street, and Benton Harbor looks completely different. I mean, it was a vision. There were lights everywhere. There were like hospitals and businesses and high risers, and I had to be maybe in my 70s in this dream. I know I was older, and the person next to me in the car had to be like a grandchild or something. And they were like, "Oh my goodness, Mama, like, you're responsible for all this." I was like, "Yes, and I did it for you." Like, I was literally talking to the future of what will come through this city. I'm a 4th generation Michigander. So, Michigan is all I know. I went away for school, but Benton Harbor is all I know. I went away for school, but coming back here, I've never turned my back on this place. It's impossible to. It's me. It's us. It's all of our history. So I really just want to be able to afford the future generation opportunities to share their fond memories. This is an amazing conversation just to say all the great things that happened here in Benton Harbor. They can still happen.
Well, and for those that don't know around the country might see this, Benton Harbor used to host one of the largest parades in the country. Blossom Time Parade was one of the biggest parades in the country.
Really, was it?
Yeah, it was huge. Like, you're talking 25,000 people come to little old Benton Harbor for Blossom Time parades. There's a building downtown they're actually revamping right now by the Arts District and Black Wall Street, right? It's right there in the middle on that corner. They're revamping that whole building. I know the guy that was the realtor for that, and the owner still has pictures of back in the 1910s and the 20s of the view from up top of the building, looking all 4 directions. It's nothing but people. Nothing but people as far as you can see from 10 stories high. And I mean, you're talking 20,000+ people. And it's one of the biggest parades in the country.
Yeah.
Right in
and
Benton Harbor,
can you help me with the numbers now? What's the current population here? Is it 10,000?
It's actually 9,000 individuals here. So yeah, we lost a whole 1,000. So
yeah,
that's a 10.
Yeah, so you guys are talking about economics, former, current, future, and the population decline, which goes right along with that, of course.
Yeah, of course.
All these, the fair and the parade and all this return to glory kind of stuff that you're talking about, this was all here because of the agriculture that was here and is still here, but we had the biggest outdoor market in the nation,
Fruit market.
right downtown Benton Harbor, right? And then
Yes,
after
we
that, we had
do.
right, and we still have it, but it's not what it was. And then we had factories and we had foundries, and most of those have gone. And the businesses that have replaced them in terms of land, at least, most of those jobs are not going to people from Benton Harbor. And so I wonder if we can roll this into a conversation about the modern economy and the
So
kinds
we've
of
had
jobs that we want to bring into this.
Yeah.
True. So we've had some conversations with the Racial Equity Chamber of Benton Harbor, Michigan, and we are really trying to work something out. So when companies are coming to the city, because we don't want to turn companies away, because we understand that we need that as well. But there's a certain amount of people that have to be employed, that are actual citizens that live within the city of Benton Harbor. Because if you're going to come here and grow, we need to grow as well. So I know that's one thing we've been working on. I know that city income tax was really major. That was a really big win for the city as well. But there's so much more we can be doing. There's so much more.
And while land is on the chopping block, so to speak,
True.
I see that as an opportunity for the citizens of Benton Harbor, especially like Ambie was saying, if they show up and, voice their concerns, there should be incentives for locals to, whether they're pre-existing businesses or people who want to open businesses, to acquire land for those businesses. They should be locals. They should be people who've lived here, who've grown up here, and hopefully businesses that can employ more than a few people in the long run.
Well, I think we have the indoor grow facility and dispensary is being opened up, I believe, soon, right?
I think there are a few of those, yeah. Jay, do you know anything about that?
Well, as far as dispensaries, I know there's the Nopo that opened.
Wilson Chandler's got one opening up soon.
Yep, that one's getting ready to open up soon. I think there's like 2 more or something like that as well.
Yeah, I think the contract was for 4. The deal was for 4 total. Yeah.
And I know there's some minimums on employment on that too, as far as like city employees and stuff, that they could continue that type of bargaining and say, yeah, we definitely have. Benton Harbor has plenty of facilities that just need to be revamped, and it's there. It's cheaper. Bunch of empty buildings, and you could put like Amazon should be doing like a shipping warehouse somewhere in Benton Harbor, because there's so many empty buildings, like Amazon shipping, stuff like that. Like, it's right there by the airport. Why would Amazon not use Benton Harbor? Like stuff like that,
Well, this is why I brought it up, because I feel like we're talking about, like, when we talk about the glory days, we're talking about business models, I guess, that don't really exist anymore. And so I think Benton Harbor is right along with all the smaller towns around, really need to change with the times and embrace a new economy, which I think the medical marijuana industry is a big part of that.
Yeah. Well, and there's like I said, I think that the economy's online so much that I think an Amazon fulfillment center for Southwest Michigan would be significant. So they're already using Water Bleat for what's that? Lane Automotives. Lanes is using their place for shipping. Why not right there in Benton Harbor by the airport? It just makes sense to me. Airport's right there.
You talking about the land that was stolen for the runway?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All the houses that were demolished and people were displaced.
Yeah.
And then, bam, they expanded it, and nothing changed for the people of Benton Harbor.
That's right.
All.
That's right.
Nothing changed for the people. All these promises, these empty promises. Okay, we're going to displace 300 people.
Yeah.
So I had patients right there. 300 people gone, displaced, and there's no real help. It's just like, we'll give you, and some of the people didn't even own, so it's like, okay, now you got to find this place to rent.
Right.
Or if you own the home, the people that are the slum lords that like kind of will keep making money off your people. as long as the state keeps paying for it, type of thing. That live off of what's that called, Section 8 vouchers or whatever, and all these different things. People play that game. Well, then as soon as the going gets tough, they sell to Whirlpool to expand the airport. But it only benefited Whirlpool and big businesses. It didn't benefit the people at all. It just displaced 300 homes.
Right, Ambie, we're talking about the new economy and how Benton Harbor and the towns around need to adapt to the new economic business plans that exist that, hopefully will displace the old factory foundry ag systems that used to exist. We were talking about medical marijuana. I think you have something to say about that. We were talking about some other things along the way. Just catching you up.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm definitely an advocate for medical marijuana.
And
I know, Aaron, I've shared it with you and Jay, but I would say I've been on dialysis now for 15 years. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm there for about 4 hours a day. And somehow I still get energy to do this stuff, right? But I would say about 8 years in, I actually have a family member who retired from professional sports. And he basically said, hey, I'm retiring. I'm not going to be able to do this forever. So we all need to figure out what we want to do going into this retirement plan that's going to retire everybody, and figure out what you want to invest in. I started with like Starbucks, and that just was not something I was really in love with. Chick-fil-A, that wasn't something I was really in love and passionate about. And at the time, I was going through a lot of pain management. I was getting injections in my back, and just so much stuff. So I ended up trying a medical marijuana brownie from a dispensary that I had to drive to Lansing to go and get. And I would say at that point, it may have been like 12 years for me. And I think that may have honestly been like the first time in the entire dialysis segment that I felt like a normal person. That I felt like, things that normally would take me hours to do, I was able to do like in an hour or two, just get it done. Like now I can get up, I can do 3 miles twice a week, live a normal life. And that wasn't something I was able to do post marijuana. So I ended up just telling my brother, I would rather do medical marijuana. And we found attorneys, and we kind of led that conversation down at City Hall on what this looks like, what this could look like for patients like me. And here we are. We're fully licensed now. So, I mean, it feels good. We're going to be able to contribute back to this city. That feels great. That feels better, It's like
and it's better for you.
Yeah, it's almost like, you get a sucker, as a kid, and it tastes so good. You just want to kids want to share the suckers with you and let you know how great everything is. It's almost like, I get to actually, give back to my community and just let them know how good life can be. Just come on, let's just, let's live. Let's keep opening up businesses here. Let's continue to build brands here. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Well, I was
tech is a big thing here too now.
What's that?
The tech industry.
Oh yeah.
Is becoming a really big thing here as well now. So, Benton is growing. It feels good.
I feel like tech should be something we could focus on in Southwest Michigan. Period.
It should.
Because there is the infrastructure with Comcast, which has the highest speeds. That's what I use it right now.
Okay.
Without Comcast, I'm not doing this business. And shout out to Comcast. Give me a discount, will you, for shouting me out? Shit ain't cheap.
That's your sponsor. There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna get Comcast to sponsor you for a year while they help give back to the community. And the
also
kids
sponsored by Round Barn Brewery out of Southwest Michigan, Black Dog Porter. Big shout out to Round Barn. All right. But I really do think, because in Michigan we have dispensaries, we have wineries, we have breweries, we got casinos, right? And the casinos got it figured out. They're helping their people like that.
True.
And it took them 100 years to fight in court to get the right to help their own people their own way, sovereign nation status. But our country still hasn't recognized reparations for the atrocities we've performed in this country. And I think, like I said, I'm a universal basic income advocate. I think that's a way of helping people. I think that Whirlpool owes the city of Benton Harbor. I think the golf course owes the people of city of Benton Harbor. I think the airport definitely owes their lifeline to the city of Benton Harbor. And I think if we can get those businesses to do the right thing with positive or the carrot or the stick method, whatever it takes, we got both at our disposal.
Yeah.
To say, listen, you guys have exploited this city for generations now, especially Whirlpool that had 7 plants and they're all gone. Those were displaced workers. Bosch, which was auto specialties and all these places that had to leave. So I think tech is something that can always be local.
Yep.
That,
Ambie, when you were gone there for a second, Boyce was talking about the just mentioned again the airport, and we got to talking about the people that were displaced in this last round of land theft. Again, what we all worry about, and that's a big concern for me. Sorry, my daughter just walked in and startled me.
Okay.
So my concern when you're talking especially about reparations and that sort of thing is that we commonly focus on stuff. We focus on money. We focus on stuff, and I think that should be part of it for sure. But what we're talking about are businesses that came, built, and then left. Yeah. And I think that we should reacquire that land one way or another, and that land should go to Benton Harbor locals and Benton Harbor natives and Benton Harbor businesses. That we shouldn't just try to take over buildings that are already there and renovate, but that we should really be focused on the land that is already up for grabs.
Hmm.
What do you guys think about that?
That's an interesting concept. I would like to see what a plan for that looks like. I would love to hear what
a plan might be that Benton Harbor residents receive preferential treatment with respect to acquiring that land. Maybe there's economic securities involved, that they can afford it more, or they get their foot in the door first, rather than just saying, "Oh, we have this land, we need this money, let's send it to the highest bidder."
Yeah, like selling off all the elementary schools they own.
Like the elementary schools, if we agree that some of them will have to go purely based on population density, right? That we want to renovate some as much as we can, like Ambie was saying, but that potentially, I mean, some of them will have to go. That land should be preferentially set aside for locals.
Well, so for most of as far as the school is concerned, to my knowledge, for most of those properties, the school does still have control over them. Trying to help the school come up with a plan and utilize what would best work for them and the community. Right now, as I stated earlier, the school is also working on a plan, a master plan on what to do with the school, curriculum, buildings, property. This is an amazing time for people to take up that space, and say that. Right. I believe it starts with us. It starts with the conversation. If we're not having those conversations about what to do with it, we almost kind of lose power on what to do once it's already taken away.
Right.
But how do we keep this in our control? Like,
I think
that was a beautiful conversation. I've been to some of these meetings. They're pretty dope. I would love to see more people there, especially more people who have students in the district. I don't know. I just think that once we come up with a plan, we're not having people coming in and telling us what our plan should look like. Once we actually come up with a plan and we start figuring out who our experts are within our community, then maybe people can kind of take a knee off the neck of us. But right now, we're just kind of laying down and letting it happen.
Well, I think
that's
something
unacceptable.
I think a challenge we could address directly in Benton Harbor is homelessness and senior housing. Those are two things that are solely, because I do therapy in homes. I see it where there's nowhere for grandma, grandpa, great grandma, grandpa to live. They have to live with family. So there's not affordable housing for them. And what is affordable is full. And there's like a 2-3 year wait.
I was gonna say, if you can get on the list to even wait,
that's what I'm saying.
Live long enough to get into some of these properties.
Right.
Yeah.
So the schools have buildings that they're going to offload. Why not? Don't offload them. Have a third party come and actually manage that property, and the proceeds should help the schools and the kids go directly back to the school. It's the school's property. They're the landlords of this property, and the profits should go to funding the school, helping not funding the school.
It sounds like you need to be at some meetings.
I guess that's my point, Boyce, is that ultimately the school will make money off of these properties, whether they're buildings or just land. And by having the conversation ahead of time, we potentially control who benefits from it beyond the school. The school will get the money.
Right.
It sounds like, maybe a Black Chamber of Commerce is in order.
Which is what the Racial Equity Chamber is.
Right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of getting in the door and making sure there's representation all around.
Right. Well, there's the SBA too that could help guide and lead people or teach people or coach them up to, okay, this is how you manage this business in this setting. I'm just gonna use the senior housing model or a homelessness model where we can literally have 0 homeless people in the city of Benton Harbor. That's something we're talking about.
Yeah,
that's something we're championing. But if it's going to be for profit, that's the hard part, right? It's you can't profit off.
Well, that's something that the community needs. How that looks long term. You have to sit down and actually come up with solutions. But I'm completely solution driven. Mm-hmm. Even in organizing my campaign, I've been working with the social worker who just graduated with her master's, who's awesome. Her name is Bernadette, and we've even been considering how do we talk to people? How do we introduce healing conversations so people even feel like this is possible? We have a lot of people who just have given up hope here. Mm-hmm. They're really walking around hopeless.
Yes.
A lot of people, unfortunately, like you said, you're going into home soon therapy. A lot of people don't necessarily have families where there's space.
Nope.
And then you do have generations of people within one home.
Yes.
And it's the reality, but it doesn't have to be.
Exactly. It is reality, but we can change that.
We can and we should.
We have to.
We must.
Yeah, we have to.
There's another option.
Yeah. No one can ever say we don't have enough money. That is a fallacy, and that is a weak argument.
True.
It is a weak and lazy argument. This is one of the most
wealthy countries. Not only do we have the money, we also really have the resources.
Absolutely.
Now
we should protect those resources right now.
Now
we have the people, we have the workers, we have everything we need to make it happen.
But people aren't connected to those resources. People don't understand what's available to them. Mm-hmm. They don't have a place to go, which is why that racial equity chamber is so important.
Yep.
Because people will be able to go to a place that identifies with them.
Can you tell us more about that, Ambie?
I'm sorry.
Can you tell us more about the Racial Equity Chamber and what they're...
I actually can, and I'll actually refer people back to the website as well. It's actionbh.com. And we fight on every issue you possibly could probably think of. Thanks, boys. Yeah. We're fighting for schools. We're fighting for equality. We're fighting for transportation. We're fighting for representation within the companies that are within our city. We're fighting for the people who are here now, who don't have representation, who have businesses, but have no place to be. Mm-hmm. So there's always a fight. But I'm hoping that people can really identify with who I am. I understand why we need more people like me who are willing to grow and learn more things as a part of the commission, because how we've been operating as a city, we aren't going to get where we need to be in the time allotted.
Right.
If we keep bowing down and not standing up in spaces we have a right to be in.
Well, I think another thing is to remember that the lower the income average in a community, any community, the faster the money leaves the community when they get it.
Yeah.
So to me, let's say I want to tackle Uber.
Okay.
Let's outcompete Uber in Southwest Michigan. There should be a Southwest Michigan app that, like the city of Benton Harbor, should have their own app developed that says, okay, let's do Uber Benton Harbor city style. There's people driving and there's a whole lot of people walking. And there's some kind of way of like, maybe, what do you call that? Where you subsidize it a little to help people that have the lower income or no income or unemployment. Somehow have some kind of a system where people that are unemployed or lower incomes below the poverty line can get rides subsidized through an Uber, like an Uber type of system, because the transportation in Southwest Michigan sucks.
But we also, I mean, there's a lot of money coming down the pipeline right now just for high rail systems. Imagine the mecca that Benton Harbor could be if there was just a stop downtown where people could get off a train and stop with the local businesses, leave your cars, park, go to Detroit for the weekend, go to Chicago for a few hours, or just ride up to Kalamazoo and, spend a day with your kids there. Like, we're so disjointed, but we're still all together and we're all in this together. And if we can kind of build the people, build the community, and have this as a place that not even just that we want to embrace, that outsiders also want to come and embrace and shop with us. And let's expose ourselves, to the outside world. There's just so much more that can be done. But I'm really, really interested in what we can do to make these inner cities work, this inner city work for us. And to also hear the type of ideas that our kids are coming up with and things that they want to be able to do when they are not in the classroom setting.
People's his age.
Yeah. I have a son who's a sophomore in college, and this summer just sucked for him. He was home. He was like, I'm bored. I have nothing to do. I don't want to go hang out everywhere.
I really do like the high-speed rail idea for tourism alone. If you lived in, let's say you lived in Chicago, that's a great idea. Instead of driving your car from the city in the traffic or in the winter, whatever, you can get out of town, stop right downtown where the fruit market's at or something, wherever the train comes through Benton Harbor. What do you think? Well, it's down by the river, right?
No, it doesn't come to Benton Harbor. It goes to St. Joe by Silver Beach Pizza.
But then where's it go?
Then it goes to...
it goes through. That's the one that goes the long red arrow,
Kalamazoo,
right?
Yeah, and then we go the opposite way. It kind of goes St. Joseph, and then it does New Buffalo, Chicago. Yeah, so Benton Harbor is not a stop there.
I love the high-speed rail idea.
Yeah, I mean,
love it.
There's so many ideas. If you look up the Fresh Start resolution or Fresh Start petition, there's an actual video on it. That talks about gentrification and how people who actually live in the community are fighting to make sure that people coming in understand that we are still here too, and we are here to stay, and we are here to grow and bring our families back.
And have a voice, man. You can't, like, I'm in Coloma. I have ideas, but I'm not on the ground. Like, I work in the community, but I don't live in the community. Those are two different experiences altogether.
But it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not. If you're coming in here, you're still a part of us, and you need to see yourself as a part of us.
I know, but I mean, like,
it's almost like what Aaron is doing. Aaron wasn't living here. His wife was working here. But Aaron and I have been in some some trenches together. We've been in some organizing meetings in basements and churches. You know, we've stood in some gaps for people that they probably didn't even see us, but we were there. And Aaron is just as much my brother as someone who grew up here because he stood in the gap for people who live here. So it doesn't matter if you're from here or you're not. If you're living here or you're working here, you're a part of this community. Let's grow it. Once you want to work in a place where you could just, you know, walk outside and walk to any business down the street. I want to live in a community where maybe I just walk to the corner and go to Subway and walk back home, or go to a grocery store 0.2 miles from my house, just in case my car is not working this week. I don't have to walk so long with groceries. It's just too disjointed. And it's so many opportunities that we're not taking advantage of. The body that's controlling, we just got to get hip, and we just got to be aware.
Well, last thing for you, I do got to wrap up. I got to go pick up my daughter here shortly. But guys, I want to really put this out there, okay, guys? So if you want to help someone like this get into office, it requires resources.
True.
Period. Secure Act blue links right there. And then also there is the where'd it go? There it is. My bad. And then her campaign manager over here to your right. You guys want to help get involved with phone banking, knocking on doors. You want to get involved in any way possible. You email this man, and he'll take care of business and point you in the right direction, hook you up. And that's what it's going to take. You got to do something. You can't just sit here and like. We all identify problems easily. That's easy to do. But actually doing something than just saying, yeah, that's messed up, and go on about your day. Go turn on Sports Center and shit, right? Oh, the Lakers are on. Who gives a shit? There's 75 homeless people at this shelter to eat lunch every day, and they're getting malnourished because they're not getting proper donations there. You know, like that's the kind of shit we got to do that makes a difference. And that's what's up, right?
Yeah, we got to vote for people who listen to us. Like Ambie.
That got
I'm
ears.
listening.
Yes.
Thank you, boys. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So we got to make sure you put the pressure at all levels. And it starts locally, guys. You got to vote locally, think locally, think globally, but you got to act locally, because the biggest changes are going to come from your city to your county to your state. It's not the other way around. We trickle everything up around here. This is the trickle up, guys. So good ideas trickle up, good candidates trickle up, and good policies trickle up. So local donations. Now, I really do appreciate Ambie just for being brave enough to put yourself out there, because it is daunting to get in the public eye and say, here I am, I'm exposed, I'm vulnerable, come at me, because that's what's going to happen. But I just love to meet people like you that are doing stuff. Jay, for coming down, being a part of this local place and making things happen. Aaron, you know, got love for you because Coloma. I live in Coloma, so but Aaron, you've been doing shit for real, man. I appreciate what you do too, man. So I'm hoping that we can get local attention that's deserved. You know, not any negative. We want some positive press around here.
Sure.
No more negativity. They're just looking for that shit, you know. So we gotta give them a better story to tell. But yeah, any parting words? My big thing is donate and email. Email J. Eddie. Donate.
And Facebook hashtag is We Rise. So let's just do this together. Let's grow together. Let's get it done.
You rise. We're gonna be knocking on y'all's doors.
Yes. I knocked on a few a while back. That's how I met Jay, knocking on doors.
Yeah. He knocks on a lot of doors.
He does.
But yeah, guys, I appreciate your time, and we'll do it again. I'd like to circle back. Oh yeah, when's the election? Sorry,
that's November 2nd.
November 2nd. So we're definitely gonna circle back maybe next month.
Yeah.
Before
Ambie Bell, Commissioner at Large.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
Peace and love. All right.